Did you know that Instagram sold for $1 billion when they had just 13 employees? That's over $77 million per employee. What if I told you that most of the apps on your phone started with some person maxing out their credit cards and eating noodles for dinner? From broke college students to billionaire tech founders. It happens. But how? The secret world of startup funding is like a hidden game with its own weird language and secret handshakes. Series A, seed rounds, term sheets. But today, I'm breaking the code. You are about to learn how ordinary people get millions of dollars from strangers to build companies that don't even make revenue yet. And trust me, it's way more bizarre than you think. Welcome to Business Simplified, where we explain complicated business stuff like your 5-year old. Because honestly, sometimes that's exactly what we need. I am Nishtha, and today we are diving into the wild world of startup funding, where dreams are built on PowerPoint slides and a good story can be worth millions of dollars. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how companies get money to grow, what all these weird funding terms actually mean, and how a founder's funding journey typically unfolds. If you're new here, smash the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you never miss when we simplify another mind boggling business concept. Before we dive into the details, let's understand the big picture of startup funding. Imagine your startup as a child growing up. Now, self funding or bootstrapping is like infancy, where you're just figuring things out and your mom and dad are paying for everything. This stage is all about proving that your idea has legs. Then comes your friends and family round. It's like an early childhood. Your extended family starts chipping in because they believe in your potential. This money helps you build your first real product. Then you go to angel investors. Think of them as rich aunts and uncles who are related to you. They are successful people who have made money in their own careers and now use their personal money to bet on promising startups. They are called angels because they are often the first outsider to believe in you when your idea is just taking flight. They typically invest their own money and not other people's. Next, we have seed funds. Imagine them as specialized preschools for your startup. They are small investment companies that focus only on very young companies with promising ideas. Unlike angel investors who use their own money, seed funds have collected money from many different investors, specifically to bet on very early stage startups. Now, these professional investors get involved because you have shown some early traction. They are investing in your potential to grow significantly. Now, these investors are typically involved in the initial stages of a startup where there is little revenue and founders are trying to prove their product is a good fit for the market. Once they have proven it and have a clear path to growth, but need money to scale, that's when the VCs come into the picture. Venture capital firms or VCs. Think of these as the talent scouts of the business world. Their job is to find the next big thing before anyone else does. They manage huge pools of money from universities, pension funds, and wealthy families, and their job is to invest that money in companies they believe will grow tremendously. A typical VC firm is run by partners who make investment decisions and help the companies they invest in. Imagine them as coaches with checkbooks. They don't just give money, they help train and grow your company. Now, these VCs conduct funding rounds like Series A, B, C, and so on. Series A is when the company has a proven market fit and need money to scale. They invest because there is a clear path to exponential growth. And Series B and beyond are conducted for companies with a business model that works. They are buying growth and market domination. These companies have already figured out their business model and just need fuel to grow bigger and faster. With each round, the risk decreases and the investment amount increases drastically. Early investors take enormous risk for potentially enormous returns. Later investors take smaller risk for more reliable returns. Now, ownership dilution also comes with each round. Founders typically start with 100% and may end up with just 10 to 20% by IPO or acquisition. Now, here's something really important to understand. Not every company needs to go through all of these steps. Some founders stay bootstrapped forever, building profitable businesses where they keep 100% of the equity and control. Think of them like the kid who builds a lemonade stand, turns it into a profitable local chain, and never needs outside money at all. Other companies might skip the early rounds and jump straight to Series A or B once they have already proven their business works. They only seek investment when they need serious cash and guidance to scale rapidly. There is no one right path. The best funding journey depends on your business type, your growth goals, and how much control you want to keep. Now, let's discuss each of these stages down in detail using the example of an extremely popular app, Instagram. Yes, the app where you scroll through reels of people's brunch and vacation photos for hours. But before it was worth billions, Instagram was just an idea that needed money to grow. Now, Kevin Systrom, Instagram's founder, initially used his own savings to build the first version of the app, which wasn't even called Instagram back then. It was called Bourbon and had way too many features. Now, most founders empty their bank accounts and max out their credit cards just to get started. And this is why so many tech founders eat noodles and sleep on couches. It's not because they love noodles, but who doesn't actually? Think about it. Now, while Kevin did not have a formal friends and family round, he did what many founders do, worked on his idea while getting encouragement from people close to him, which is its own kind of currency. Now, once Kevin simplified Bourbon into a photo sharing app and renamed it Instagram, he got $500,000 from angel investors, including Steve Anderson and Mark Anderson, the big Silicon Valley names. Now, seed round is essentially the first professional money into the business. Instagram raised about $7 million dollars in seed funding shortly after their launch, when they had already started to gain some traction. Seed rounds are usually 1 to 3 million dollars, and to get this money you need more than just a pretty slide deck. You need at least some evidence that people actually want what you are building, like real users who aren't related to you. Series A is where we are entering the big league. Series A is when venture capital firms get involved and things get more formal. Instagram raised $7 million dollars Series A round led by Benchmark Capital about a year after launching, when they had about 30 million users. Let that sink in. 30 million users before their Series A. At this point, investors aren't just betting on your idea, they're betting on your traction and growth. They want to see that you've figured out a repeatable way to get customers. Now, Series B, C, D, and sometimes all the way to Z are about scaling what's already working. Instagram actually went straight to an acquisition after their Series A. Facebook bought them for $1 billion when they had just 13 employees. That's about $77 million per employee. I guess I'm in the wrong business. Here's the cold, hard truth that most influencers won't tell you. Less than 1% of startups successfully raise venture capital. Yes, you heard that right. All those TechCrunch headlines about millions being raised, they represent a tiny fraction of all startups. It's like seeing Instagram models and thinking everyone looks like that. Spoiler alert, they don't. And neither does the average funding journey. Not everyone needs or should raise venture capital. Here are some alternatives for your funding journey. First is bootstrapping all the way. Companies like MailChimp never raised external funding and sold for about $10 billion. Second are bank loans. Yes, the boring old bank loans still exist, especially for businesses with physical assets. Third are your revenue based financing options. You get capital and paid back as a percentage of your revenue. Fourth, crowdfunding. Sites like Kickstarter let you raise money from customers before you can even build that product. So, there you have it. Startup funding explained like you're 5, or maybe more like 15, but I tried my best. Remember, there is no right way to fund a company. Instagram's path worked for them, but your path might look completely different. The most important thing isn't raising money, it's building something that people actually want. And money just helps you do it faster. If you found this helpful, smash that like button. It really helps the channel. And if you have any other business topics you want me to explain, drop them in the comments below and we'll definitely get to it. Until next time, keep it simple. Bye.